Ranco. Okay, Ranco. To start, could you like briefly tell us who you are and what is like your background in education?
My name is Ranco. Um, I'm a lecturer in Del Rosario for strategy, leadership, and sustainability, two subjects. And I'm the director of pedagogical innovation.
Okay.
So I help other professors to innovate, find new ways to teach. And I
Okay.
think it's very needed in this time of AI.
Okay. Why El Rosario?
Why? No, I just, I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn really connected me with Del Rosario because I connected with one of the people in Del Rosario.
Okay.
And when we landed here, I texted her and said, hey, I'm in Bogota, let's have coffee. She invited me for the opening of phase 3.
Okay.
So they were building different phases, but they had a phase 3 in the north. She said, come here and then we will talk. And then apparently she was on the stage with the rector. It's like, is this the same person that I connect? Because based on her title on LinkedIn, I didn't know that she was part of the board of directors in the Rosario.
Okay. Okay.
And so she introduced me, and
Now you're here.
now I'm here.
Okay, perfect. What motivates you to dedicate your career now to education?
I think it's one of the ways. Education is one of the ways to fight poverty.
Okay.
And I think it's, especially at this part of the world, I think it's really a great opportunity to share my experience and to train and teach the future leaders of Colombia. I think it's a privilege for me.
Future. How do you see the technology and the AI refacing not only what we teach, but also how people learn in the future?
Yeah, so I think AI has a really big impact on education. And for example, a lot of my colleagues are struggling with exams. They say, okay, we need to go back to pen and paper because otherwise they will cheat. And, so I think in this time and age, we need to focus more on what are the human skills that we can develop. AI is an amazing tool that we can use. But I still believe that we need to understand the basic of a certain topic. For example, strategy or leadership. You need to have a good input. You need to understand what is leadership, what are the historical schools that we know, before we can use AI or we can develop ourselves.
Okay.
So I think a lot of students admit, they said, we have no clue how to use AI, for example, in a business simulator. Um, so the level that we now face in users of AI is, I have a question, I put it in AI, get an answer, copy paste, and there we go. So I think that's a very dangerous practice because I think AI is really seductive in a way. It's like you put something there and say, wow, let's make a business plan. I think this is amazing. So you need really to challenge AI to give you some criticism on something that you have. So I think that's a big challenge because then we fall in the pit that we call the AI trap, that we outsource our thinking to a robot without having this judgment, having this basic knowledge about the topic and say, okay, but AI, this is not true, or this is incorrect, or this is what I didn't ask. So we need to combine both. We need to make sure that the students nowadays have the basic understanding of a topic, but also have the abilities to combine it with AI tools and apply those knowledge in this time and age.
Exactly. I was going to ask you about that. What do you think are now in this like rapidly changing world the most critical skills and mindsets that the education should focus for to truly prepare those future students?
Yeah, so I think, for example, teamwork, I don't see AI currently doing anything on that. Um, Creativity, yes, we can ask AI to design something, but I think human creativity is still more unique because AI is just reusing what was already existing. So teamwork, creativity, communication skills, I think those are really important skills. Critical thinking, how do we judge some outputs on and validate this kind of information? I still remember, I think 10 years ago we had these fact checkers. You remember that? That every talk show had a fact checking team to make sure that anything that the interviewer or the guest was saying was solid.
Okay.
And I think we need to go back and train our students to be more critical to what is coming out of AI, because we don't know what the source is. We have no clue. It's a big black box. And that's one. I think also ethical use. We need to teach them how to cite AI, or give us maybe a view on, hey, how do I use AI? Is it just copy paste, or did I have an interaction? Did I have a conversation? What did I add to the ideas of AI? And I think that's really a skill, because just take stuff and copy paste. I tell my students, we are not in kindergarten, right? Copy paste, that's what everybody can do, but judge, craft it into something that you really feel like that's good. I think that's an art.
At the end, the AI is a complementary tool. Like, we do the whole thing.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good point. I think AI is a tool. So we are still like in the orchestra, we are the conductor. We make sure that the questions that we ask and the output is in a way that we feel like, hey, this is something that is good, it's valid, and we are in charge of that, and we cannot outsource that. So I believe also the future, like McKinsey is saying, okay, the future in work is like we have maybe 4 people in the marketing team, 4 agents working in the marketing team, and maybe 2 humans to validate and make sure that the content
everything
is good.
Working.
Yeah, but some of the work we can outsource, repetitive work or other work. For example, editing a video is a lot of work. So I think there are opportunities that AI can support us to reduce the time, and still, I think video editing, we still have to judge and say, okay, was that the right cut that we want, or is there something else that we want to display?
Okay. Now, next question. From your perspective, what is like currently holding education systems back? What do you think that is evolving at the pace society requires?
I think the current education system is very slow, and it's really sad to me, because I think we training the future leaders sometimes with old methodologies, with old theories, and I think that is a reality that we live in. One is based maybe on accreditation, national or international, but also I think the internal dynamic in an academic setting is not the fastest. So one of the opportunities or challenges that we face is, for example, the connection with academia, with business. Business talks a different language, have a different frequency, different speed than education. So I think the challenge there is that, for example, currently there are many universities still without any AI guide, how to use AI in an ethical way, because they're still talking about it. And AI was not yesterday born, it's 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, came into the world, and we're still talking about it, but we don't provide any guidance. And one of the reasons is that we want to do it perfectly. But in this time where AI is evolving super fast, and every couple of months we have different apps, different possibilities with AI, so we cannot frame it in stone and say, okay, this is the way you should work. We should be more iterative, more agile and flexible, and say, okay, we have our point of view, we share it with students how to use AI, and that's it. And every month we reevaluate and discuss, okay, is there anything new? Is there anything changing in how we look at the use of AI? But we don't do it. We are not born like that. We say, okay, we are scientists, we are rigorous in our research, but I think in this case we're a little bit slow. Also, adaptation of new ways of working. For example, agile. We still teach project management. It's like, okay, but whole Europe and US are already adapting to an agile way of working. A lot of big companies here in Colombia, like Adidas and Telefonica, are implementing agile ways of working, but we're still teaching an old way in the universities, which is, I think, a missed opportunity.
Yeah, totally. So, like, to end, if you had a magic wand, what would you change, like one thing in the whole industry of education? If you could do whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
Yeah.
I think we need to one thing that I really see, and I ask, for example, my students, how do you look at the future of education? And I was really surprised with their answers, because they said, okay, it needs to be global. We need to have more global challenges. The world is not only Colombia or only Bogota. We want to have challenges that are impactful. For example, use your city as your learning lab. There are so many things that we can contribute to, from academia to the city. Learning tracks needs to be more flexible. It's not, okay, I have a major in marketing so that I cannot go in any other place. No, we need to make it a little bit more flexible based on interest, based on competencies. Also, the back office. We provide only one grade, or per subject a grade, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
While we have so much information. Online universities, for example, or Platzi or other, they track your time that you spend, the results that you have, and based on all the activities that you do and your interest, they can give you a tailor-made advice and say, hey, Camila, maybe based on your scores, based on your interest, maybe this is the next course. And I think that is an opportunity that we need to embrace and work, maybe like the traditional taxi drivers.
Mm-hmm.
They fight for a while all the apps like Uber and Cabify, because they say, oh, it's unfair. But I think we are, as universities, we are more like the yellow caps, the traditional taxi driver. And that's okay. We did a good job. But we now have to collaborate with the new regime on online teaching, online universities, and see how we can connect their advancement in technology combined with our legacy and research competencies. I think that will be a nice
That would be
future. That will be my
your
future.
spark. Okay, thank you so much for this conversation.